with Shamar. Molly.
Thanks, Greeny. Shamar, scouts and GMs all rave about your physical gifts. You have a longer wingspan than LeBron James. How were you built to play in this league?
Man, I'm built for it. I'm made for it. I'm a hard body. I'm made from this. I'm ready.
The Bengals' new defensive coordinator, Al Golden, known for his aggressive style. How can he bring out the best in you?
Man, just tell me going straight line. I'll figure everything else out.
All right, well, Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow's jobs just got a little bit harder in the AFC North. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Greeny.
Molly, thank you very much. Shamar Stewart, again, the magnificent physical talent, the production that hasn't always lined up to it, but a player we did expect to hear his name early tonight. Mike Green still on the board. A lot of pass rushers in this draft. It was interesting to see in which order they would fall, and now they are starting to do just that. The Seattle Seahawks are on the clock, followed by Tampa and Denver, and we'll be back in 15 seconds after this word from Thrivent.
With Thrivent, your personal finances aren't just personal. We use money as a tool to help all the people we hold in our hearts. Because the most important thing isn't what you're planning for, it's who. Thrivent, where money means more.
All right, we are back in Green Bay. The Seattle Seahawks are on the clock, and an interesting offseason for Seattle after they send away Geno Smith and they sign up Sam Darnold. So it's sort of a new era there with their second-year coach Mike Macdonald. What direction should we be expecting now for the Seattle Seahawks here, picking at number 18?
We talked about a lot about the interior of the offensive line, and Tyler Booker is gone, and there's other guys that are available. And I think we talked about versatility, Boog and Lou, and that's where Gray Zabel, North Dakota State. I know there's some teams in the late first round were hoping he would slide through the cracks, but the versatility to play every position on the offensive line, practice at center at the Senior Bowl. Gray Zabel, I know he could have gone anywhere he wanted. He stayed at North Dakota State, loyal to that program, and he can play anywhere on that line, but he could be a Pro Bowl guard at the pro level.
Especially if they feel really good about their two tackles, those young tackles they've taken in the draft, Charles Cross and Abraham Luke. If they feel really good about those tackles, then I agree with Mel. Attacking the interior of the line is the way to go.
A quick note as we await the commissioner, there's been one trade so far. The fewest in any first round in the common draft era is 3. We'll see if those start, but here's the commission.
With the 18th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Gray Zabel, guard, North Dakota State.
So there he is, Mel. There's your guy. You just mentioned it. He had NIL offers to leave North Dakota State, but stayed in part so he could play with his brother. And as a result, he won his second FCS championship last year, got invited to the Senior Bowl. He was great there. This, by the way, is the 4th year in the last 5 the Bison have had an offensive lineman selected in the draft.
Yeah, you look at it, he started the first 3 games at left guard in 2023, moved to right tackle for the rest of that season. This past year, he's at left tackle for North Dakota State. He's getting the job done again, getting it done there. Started the final 36 games of his career. 41 overall at left tackle, right tackle, left guard, and right guard. Practice at center at the Senior Bowl in Lewis. The technique and the fiery approach. He's got a defensive mentality. Gray Zabel, I know down in Mobile, impressed a lot of offensive line coaches.
No doubt, especially with his play on the interior, center, and guard. You go back to 23, as you mentioned, and you watch him there where he started those games at left guard. He looked like a Pro Bowler. He looked like a guy who's going to be all rookie immediately, and he's going to challenge for a Pro Bowl spot. The arm length does show up at tackle for him. He doesn't have that kind of physical range to deal with some of the pass rushers he would deal with in the NFL. But at guard, he's plug and play.
So he's headed to Seattle. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be next. Congratulations to Gray Zabel and his family. Again, the Bucs are on the clock, then the Broncos, then the Steelers. When will we have our next quarterback selected? We'll find out shortly. We're live in Green Bay. We're back in a moment on ESPN.
I don't get why this controller knocks the batteries in like 8 minutes. I don't know what's wrong with it. Like my other controller doesn't do that. It's so aggravating. I don't just going to the store and just buying batteries. Every time they die, getting new batteries.
Cleaning your dog's teeth can be hard.
$30,
But not with Greenie's dental treats.
oh my God.
Greenies.
But
Big
get
health treat.
rechargeable,
Also, try Greenie's
rechargeable
dog food and
batteries.
toppers.
The best thing is great investment that you can do. Like, go stretch your parents out, dude, just to get new batteries every 2 days. Just go get.
I trusted you. I trusted you.
I'm about to play some Rulo. I'm gonna try to get some gaming videos in. I was waiting on that to get the new one because the old one broke.
This is a meal. Melty, cheesy, flaky, toasty. Lunch just got croissant-tastic. Try the new
Ooh,
croissant toast
My
sandwiches.
chest still hurts. from
It just
workout.
meals good at Panera.
Chime exists to help everyday Americans make it. When you build your credit to build yourself up, when payday comes on your terms, when your girl math starts mathing, oh yeah, you're making it. Success doesn't happen overnight, but as you progress, you start to feel it. See, when you're going after something bigger, hustling for something better, baby,
This has
you're making
calories in it. I was gonna get the 0, but
Graduates, today you enter the real world, ready for whatever lies ahead, except for the following, which you are likely to find exceedingly difficult. Going to a 9-to-5 job, doing your taxes, putting on a duvet cover, taking off a duvet cover, realizing you're never going to go to the gym. This guy knows what I'm talking about. In summary, life is hard, but saving money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive is easy. Oh yeah, deciding what's for dinner every night for the rest of your life.
With the first selection in the 2005 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Alex Smith.
Forget franchise. Aaron Rodgers will be solid. How far he drops is going to be the storyline of the day.
The Miami Dolphins select Ronnie Brown, Carnell Williams, Antrell Roll.
A week and a half ago, it looked like Aaron was going to be the guy. I like Aaron Rodgers a lot, and somebody's going to get themselves a heck of a steal.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
With the
y'all.
24th selection in the 2005 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Aaron Rodgers.
We're back in Green Bay. Time now for a draft moment brought to you by Ego. So what were the possibilities that we would have Shedeur Sanders still on the board available as we arrive at the 19th pick, which is where we are now? Well, as you can see, it was about 50-50. He would be there at 13. The percentages continue to drop, and we were a few picks away from the Steelers at 21. Adam Schefter, what can you tell us?
Well, Greeny, we're not going to see Shedeur picked at 19 or 20. The Buccaneers are sticking at 19. The Broncos are sticking at number 20, and that would bring us to the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21. That is the pick that a lot of people have wondered whether the team would take it. He's got some support within the organization. Mike Tomlin is a fan of Shedeur Sanders. Offensive coordinator Arthur Smith is a fan of Shedeur Sanders. But the Steelers also need help at defensive tackle, wide receiver, running back, some other positions. And if they don't take them, there's a real possibility Shedeur Sanders still could be on the board Friday night.
All right, Chef D, and there you saw Shedeur with his legendary father and longtime coach, Deion Sanders, been his coach all through his life. But the Buccaneers are on the clock right now, and here comes the commissioner with the 19th selection.
With the 19th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Emeka Egbuka. Wide receiver, Ohio State.
That's a little bit of a surprise. A terrific player. We thought they might go defense, but if you think of all the great pass catchers Ohio State has sent to the NFL, even in the last handful of years, consider Emeka Egbuka is the school's all-time leading receiver, Mel. 205 catches over 4 seasons.
Yeah, the only thing really slowed Emeka Egbuka down was that left ankle injury in 2023. Missed 3 games mid-season, came back at 41 catches. Year prior to that, he had 74 catches for 15, 6 average, and 10 touchdowns.
This past year, 81 catches, 12.5 average, and 10 touchdowns. I've called him a professional receiver. You know what you're getting with Emeka Bukalu. Once he ran that 4.47 40, that solidified him as a late first, maybe even a mid first. But Emeka Buka running under 4.5 with the kind of production and versatility and the approach, that workmanlike business professional approach, is how he became a first-round draft choice.
Think about where Emeka plays primarily, right? In the slot. Who's the guy who can also win outside, real tough inside, make contested catches, threaten the middle of the field. Who does that for Tampa Bay? Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin coming off of a very, very significant injury. This makes you wonder. They must be concerned a little bit about what's going on with Chris Godwin and maybe his availability, who knows, for 2025. Because this is not for certain. Mike Evans getting a little bit older. This is a little bit of a curveball of a pick. But when you start trying to think about why this may have happened, you kind of have to start like following the breadcrumbs.
It also makes you wonder if you're Tampa, who's going to rush the passer? Greeny, you said we were thinking defense.
Yes.
They need an edge rusher. They signed Hassan Reddick on a 1-year deal. They need more juice coming off the edge in this Todd Bowles defense.
Well, Booker, you live in Tampa. You've been telling me all along they were going to go defense.
Everyone told me they were going to go defense, and then they didn't.
But again, this is not in any way a reflection on Emeka Egbuka, who is a terrific player. There you see Todd Bowles, the coach of the Buccaneers. So the Denver Broncos are on the clock, and then the Steelers will pick next. It's been an intriguing night, and it's about to get all the more interesting. We're back in Green Bay in just a moment.
The 2025 NFL Draft, presented by Courtyard by Marriott, is brought to you by Progressive. Protect your auto, home, and business today at Progressive.com.
Unknown and dang near one FNCO. I don't think that's good.
Mine was earned in Germany, 1984.
I earned it for my family in 1945.
Mom earned it for us.
USAA membership is for those who served and can be shared with their spouses, then kids, and their kids for generations to come. And because our members know USAA's commitment to serving the military community, they're proud to start their family's legacy.
So I'm in, and so is our family.
USAA. See if you can become a member today. Members who switch saved an average of $725 annually on auto insurance.
I was tired of being told no. No to my dreams.
I have no idea if anyone would buy anything.
This is so wild that I actually, from a dream, started a business.
You did.
I
know.
Is this yours?
Yeah,
No way.
I got
Yes,
first
way. Well, get in.
There's nothing like that first Mercedes feeling. Experience the feeling yourself at a local Mercedes-Benz dealer.
I see you looking at me.
Really?
Let's start paying attention to breasts when it matters the most. Early detection for breast cancer is a game changer, and why I'm able to be here today. So let's get more women screened than ever before at yourattentionplease.com.
It's a rare thing when someone you've been with for so long finds a way to surprise you. It's like discovering E-Trade's easy-to-use platform now comes with the power of Morgan Stanley.
Mom can speak walrus?
This is Roundup for Lawns. This stuff works. This stuff kills weeds down to the root without killing your lawn. This stuff works on dandelions, crabgrass, clover. This stuff works for up to 3 months. This stuff works guaranteed or your money back. This stuff works on big lawns, small lawns, and I guess you can call that a lawns. This stuff works without killing your lawn. This stuff works without killing your weekend. This stuff works for the rookies and the seasoned pros. This stuff works in Knoxville, Bronxville, Rockville, Marysville. This is Roundup for Lawns. This stuff works.
This is Formula One. It's lights out and away we go.
The season continues in Miami, Sunday, May 4th on ABC, the exclusive home of F1.
Welcome back to Green Bay. The Denver Broncos are on the clock at number 20, and right now it's time for a look at Mel's Best Available, brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott.
Yeah, he got some good ones. Shedeur, I'm amazed right now that he's still on the board, as I was with Aaron Rodgers. New Orleans, hey, I'm going to wait and see who makes a move to get Shedeur Sanders before I start talking about those organizations that will haunt them. Will Johnson, we don't about the injury. That was affected where he went. Good corner. Had he been healthy through the process, would have been a top 10 to 15 pick. I love Amari and Hampton for Denver. I've said it for 3 months. They need a running back who's complete. He is to help out Bo Nix. Josh Simmons was the best tackle until he got hurt in October in that game against Oregon. That's why he's still available. Right tackle, left tackle could play guard as well. And I'm surprised Matthew Golden, once he ran 4.29 on the heels of a great year at Texas, on the heels of 2 really good years at Houston with the Cougars, Matthew Golden did anything and everything at Texas, got open, caught the ball, and then ran great. I'm really surprised Golden's still here at this point in the draft.
Did an interesting night, very strange one in some ways. We had the enormous trade at the very beginning, Jacksonville moving up from 5 to 2, but that has been the only trade we've had so far in round 1. And I'll mention again, the fewest in any first round in the common draft era was 3. And that goes back to 1971 is the most recent time. So we generally had a lot more than that. The Broncos pick is in, and here comes the commissioner with a special guest to make the selection.
Not the shield.
April is World Wish Month, and the NFL is proud to support the life-changing wishes that Make-A-Wish grants. Yes.
Wyatt.
One of those wishes will be coming true right now. Sam is a 17-year-old Broncos fan who has bravely battled cancer. There you go, Sam. Raise that fist up, baby. His wish is to announce the first-round draft pick for his favorite team. Please join me in cheering on Sam as his wish comes true. Take it away, Sam.
Yeah, let's go, Broncos. Give it to him, baby. All right. With the 20th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Jahdae Barron, DB, Texas.
It's a wonderful moment. Jahdae Barron, a young man, grew up in Austin, much decorated in his final season with the Longhorns. Mel, a consensus All-American, won the Jim Thorpe Award as the best defensive back in the country, had 5 interceptions on the season.
Yeah, 2 Texas Longhorns ran great at the combine and needed to. Matthew Golden, I've been talking about the 4.29. How about Jahdae Barron running a 4.39 when some thought he'd run 4.45 to 4.5 at 5'11", 195 pounds. Plays everywhere in that secondary for Texas. Super smart, can blitz, intercepts passes. I talked about it. Doesn't miss many tackles at all. He had 67 tackles, 5 interceptions, 11 pass breakups this past year. Jahdae Barron did. Short tackler, instinctive, versatile guy. He can play him anywhere in the deep patrol.
Yeah, this is another guy that Steve Sarkisian, the head coach of Texas, just raved about. He raves about Barron because of the fact that he's a great locker room guy. He's a guy who can fit in with everyone. He's kind of a spokesman for a team. He kind of settles everyone down. And as far as on the football field, you're right. He's super versatile. Can play inside and outside. Has great instincts, great vision, route development and understanding, and the willingness to come up and hit, play strong at the catch point. That's what Vance Joseph's going to want out there in Denver, where they play some pretty good defense. Him and Patrick Surtain II, that's a pretty good group of corners right now when you're talking about the Denver Broncos.
And as you start to look at it, he's a faster version of what Brian Branch does for the Detroit Lions. A multiple position player that can play inside, outside, that can play in the middle of the field. He can do it all, kind of a joker on defense. He will be used very well in Denver.
Yeah. All right, and so now we get to the Steelers at 21, and this is a spot that obviously we have had circled for quite some time. Adam Schefter, what can you tell us?
Well, Greeny, one of the most intriguing spots in the draft. Shedeur Sanders is still on the board right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers still are awaiting an answer from Aaron Rodgers. One person in the league said today they wondered how that combination, Aaron Rodgers and Shedeur Sanders, could go along if the Steelers went that route. But there are no assurances that Pittsburgh is going to go that route at number 21 when they have other needs as well. This will be an organizational decision. If they take Shedeur, he has a new home. If they don't, then we have entered into a really intriguing part of the draft where Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart are alive. And interestingly, the belief around the league is that the Saints and the Giants both really like Jackson Dart.
So, Shefty, there's an irony in all of this, Mel, because you keep making the comparisons to Aaron Rodgers and the way that he slid through the draft, and now perhaps Rodgers playing some role in Pittsburgh's decision as they make this pick here at 21. But we're waiting to see if this is the spot. Shedeur Sanders will finally hear his name called.
The Steelers have no second-round pick. That went to Seattle for DK Metcalf. So they're sitting here with a pick. We talked about Derek Harmon. Derek Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon, could be mentored by Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward can't play great forever, right? He's a Hall of Famer, but he's playing with 2 more years, maybe 3. So you bring in maybe Derek Harmon. How do you feel about Shedeur at 21? This organization has not had won a playoff game in 9 years. They haven't had any losing seasons in a long time, but 21, they haven't won a playoff game in 9 years. In this division with Burrow and Lamar and the AFC loaded with great quarterbacks, and you have Mason Rudolph, and there's Shedeur sitting there, and you have no second-round pick. Where's the young quarterback coming in, Bug? I'm taking Shedeur Sanders. I prefer him in New Orleans. I don't know what the Saints were thinking there. That's their decision. I disagree with it. But if I'm Pittsburgh, Shedeur Sanders, the pass on him at this stage at pick 21, Bug, come on.
All right, I'm told that the pick is in. The commissioner is making his way to the stage. Will this be the moment that we hear the second quarterback's name, or will the drop continue? Here comes Roger Goodell with the announcement.
With the 21st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Derek Harmon, defensive tackle, Oregon.
You can hear the roar in this crowd. That is the surprise of many, and it is echoed on this stage. Let's talk about Derek Harmon. The young man can rush the passer from the interior of that D-line. Led all defensive tackles and quarterback pressures with 34. Mel, he was fabulous at the combine. He's from Detroit. Started his career at Michigan State. Had 1 season at Oregon.
He had a really good season because he did something at Oregon that he didn't do at Michigan State, was compete and can be consistent on a game-to-game basis. He really, this year, took his game on a competitive standpoint to a new level. I know at Michigan State, you kept waiting for it to really hit home and really develop into that kind of player that his talent indicated he could be. And this year, he did it. He was disruptive. He got in the backfield. He hit Quinshon Judkins in that game on October 12th, caused that fumble when Ohio State had all the momentum. You watch him, guys. He can get into the backfield. Plays a little high, but he is a guy can learn from Cam Hayward. Talk about that. Will they weigh that position, that need, and having a guy that can be maybe the heir apparent to Cam Hayward against the quarterback, Shedeur Sanders? They opted for Derek Harmon because they love the fact he could be the next guy to take over for Cam Hayward.
Well, no doubt. You talk about Cam Hayward getting a little longer than 2. This is something that Pittsburgh doesn't have, which is interior pass rush. You mentioned he led all defensive tackles as far as pass rush pressures from the inside. And when you look at Keanu Bitten, who they took out of Wisconsin, he's played well, but getting to the passer hasn't been his forte. This is an opportunity to fortify the defensive front. Again, pass on the quarterback, fortify the defensive front with TJ Watt. I like what the Steelers are doing. You just wonder, without Aaron Rodgers, who's going to play quarterback position for them?
That's a great question. We don't know right now.
No one knows.
Guess it'll be Mason Rudolph.
One wonders if they know. By the way, the Steelers' last first-round defensive lineman was Cam Hayward, whom they selected 31st in 2011. So there's the celebration in the Steeler draft room. The question is, when will the next quarterback come off the board? Come on back and find out. The Chargers are on the clock. We're back in Green Bay in just a moment.
Being Courtyard's official fan ambassador has opened a new world for me. Now I get to hang out with NFL fans all season long.
Wait, what?
Yeah. See you on game day.
This is the mark of a fighter. A rich, full-flavored lager with a crisp, refreshing taste. A reward for those with a fighting spirit. You've earned this, so hold it up high. Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
Order a 10-piece McNuggets meal with spicy nether flame sauce. And unlock epic add-ons in Minecraft. Only when you order on the McDonald's app. Let's build.
Gatorade,
the world's most superior sports drink, designed to rehydrate, replenish, and refuel. It fuels the best because it is the best. Gatorade, is it in you?
Eric Henry.
Hey, Jake from State Farm. I saved so much bundling, it inspired my workout. Auto! Oh!
Okay. And this is auto again, right?
Auto!
Hey, this is my living room.
Oh!
Bundling. Just another way to save with the personal price plan.
The dog isn't allowed on the couch, Derek.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
From the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power, the Ego 22-inch aluminum deck mower. The most powerful mower in its class, producing the perfect razor-sharp cut. Find an Ego retailer near you.
$6 never tasted so good. IHOP's Breakfast Faves combo is now just $6. Featuring IHOP's world-famous buttermilk pancakes, crispy hickory smoked bacon, and 2 eggs cooked to order your way. All for just $6. Part of the new $6 House Faves menu.
Verizon Small Business Days are back. Our experts?
Welcome in.
Closer than you think. Serving up deals, advice, and more.
Hey. Hi.
April 21st to 27th.
Let's take a look.
Get started today.
Lowe's knows it's easier to make the right calls when you have the right team. McCaffrey looking lost.
Hey, I'm looking for a lawn. Could you point me aisle 27?
Find what you need faster with the Lowe's app.
Welcome back to Green Bay. Mel, time for another look at your best available players, brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott.
Yeah, it'll be interesting with Shedeur because I got a list of some guys who were great in the NFL, but they were old school pocket passers, and where they slid, how the NFL didn't really regard them highly coming out of college. That's a long list of names. The quarterbacks went on to be outstanding in the National Football League. Will Johnson, the injury affected him, pushed him down. Marion Hampton surprised. Denver didn't take. Once Denver opted to go a different direction, and Denver took Shanae Barron, the cornerback safety from Texas. All of a sudden, Hampton could drop a little bit. His running back's not a big need. He's here. Josh Simmons would have been a top 5, top 10 pick had not been for an injury. Medically, he should be ready to go for training camp. There's Matthew Golden. He would fit what the Chargers are looking for as well. Who catches the football, has great speed with that 14-9. The Chargers needs right now interior offensive line, wide receiver, tight end, and they could not stop the run. 27th in per carry average allowed last.
There isn't any question, however, this has become now the story of the night. Shedeur Sanders, according to our draft day predictor, there was a 96% chance that he would be selected in the first 21 picks entering this draft, 21 being the operative number with the Steelers. So we are now in that zone where we wait and see if any team chooses to trade up from the second round to make the aggressive
Yeah,
move.
we always act like we're in the 6th round of the draft right now, and Shedeur Sanders hasn't been picked. And we're still where Lamar Jackson wasn't taken. And the last time I checked, the Baltimore Ravens took Hayden Hurst, a 25-year-old tight end at the time, out of South Carolina, tight end. And then they traded back into 32 to take Lamar Jackson. We were going to pack it up at the end of day 1 and get ready for day 2, right? There's Lamar Jackson. That list of the pocket pass. Johnny Unitas, cut by the Steelers, passed over, right? Nobody wanted. Dan Marino passed over for Cal Davis and Ken O'Brien, right? Joe Montana went in the 3rd round. Kurt Warner, undrafted free agent. Peyton Manning, people hit the league like Ryan Leaf over him until Bill Foley and take him number 1 overall. Matt Ryan. Jake Long went ahead of Matt Ryan. They took him so far, something for Ken Henny over Matt Ryan. Pocket guy. How'd that work out, right? Drew Brees, 2nd round. Chargers, then Miami didn't take him. Goes to New Orleans, right? How'd that work? Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. Kirk Cousins, 4th round pick. They're all traditional drop back pocket passes. I didn't mention the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, 6th round pick. So just think about that list. The NFL didn't like him back when Johnny Unitas came out of Louisville. They didn't like him now. It can burn 9 out of 10 times by passing on these guys.
Look, I don't know if it's that the NFL doesn't like them. I think the NFL is saying that those quarterbacks, maybe like Shedeur Sanders, they don't do anything special. So we talked about earlier in the show about people getting wild with the off-platform throws and all these different things. Shedeur Sanders plays point guard from the pocket, and maybe they're not valuing that in the first round now.
But you know what? He does do something special. The first thing that quarterback whisperer, guys who we respect the most as far as developing quarterback, that the first thing that they talk about when they're talking about What does it take to play quarterback at a high level in the NFL? They don't say wild throws. They don't say great traits. They say exactly what you said in your own highlight. Decision making, yes. Accuracy. That's what they say. Fedora has made great decisions in the pocket, outside the pocket. When he's getting his head knocked off, he's made great decisions. He throws the football with accuracy. The whole arm strength thing. I mean, come on. Look, how many times? He's a nice passer of the football. It's as simple as that. He just is. What this comes down to, look, I'm going to look at this from a team perspective, right? Every team likes, teams like players. It's just a matter of what price do they want to pay, right? So they figure for him, if we're judging the landscape right here, we don't need to pay top 15 prices, top 20 prices. Heck, we may not even need to pay first round prices. Does that mean I agree with it? But they need quarterbacks, though. You're right. The most important position. Hey, they're taking all the teams that are passing on them right now, as Mel just mentioned, are taking a gamble. They're taking a gamble. The teams who need a quarterback, and if you pass on him and he winds up having a Drew Brees type of career, a Tom Brady type of career, which he's totally capable of. You're going to sit back and teams are going to. There's going to be a lot of revisionist history on him. I get that. There's going to be a lot of case studies done on why did people pass on him? Was it because they thought he was cocky? Was it because of his dad? Was it because he was too brat? All the other nonsense that you hear. Because it isn't because of how he plays the game. I agree with you. It's not how he plays the game.
All right, we have only had one quarterback selected. We have only had one trade made. If Shedeur Sanders was going to get drafted here, it would have to be a trade because Justin Herbert is going to be the quarterback of the Los Angeles Chargers. So I said that facetiously. Obviously, this isn't going to be the spot. So the Chargers are on the clock here. Then we will have the hometown Green Bay Packers. So no doubt we'll get a jolt from this crowd. You see Jim Harbaugh's team has made its selection. Here's Roger Goodell.
With the 22nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Omarion Hampton, running back, North Carolina.
Mel, a player you love, back-to-back monster seasons for the Tar Heels, over 1,500 yards in 2023, over 1,600 last year, 30 touchdowns on the ground, and he added 67 catches as well.
Yeah, just turned 22 on March 16th. I thought he'd be a Denver Bronco, and he goes to the division. Now he can haunt the Broncos a little bit, right? With the Chargers. If Jim Harbaugh wants to run the football, obviously you got to stop the run, something they couldn't do last year as well. They want to run the football. Omarion Hampton at 220-plus pounds, ran 4.46. Talk about a guy at 622 carries in his career. That's 128 fewer than Ashton Jeanty. So a lot of tread left on those tires. Talk about contact and being able to go run through contact. He will do that. Excels at picking up yards and breaking tackles after that contact with a leg drive, the determination, and that breakaway speed he possesses. Very good hands as well. Had a career high 38 receptions, 2 touchdown catches this year. Doesn't have the elusiveness of a Jeanty and the ability there to make people miss on a consistent basis. Pass blocking needs to improve just a bit, but the athleticism and one cut, he can go. Omarion Hampton will hit that hole hard, and he will break tackles. He is a game breaker. Joe Mixon, 120-plus pounds.
That's Joe Mixon right there. That's what it looks like. Joe Mixon wearing the North Carolina uniform.
And you put him in this offense where they want to run the football with Harbaugh coming downhill. This is a perfect fit for Omarion Hampton.
All right, and so as the National Football League has now taken to bringing the draft on the road, we will reach that moment that we look forward to every year. The home team is on the clock, and just listen to these fans in Green Bay. The Go Pack Go chant. Hundreds of thousands of cheeseheads as far as the eye can see. These fans so excited. The people of this terrific city have been so excited to host this event. We have all felt it all week long. There's been no question about it. And so with all the energy here, the Green Bay Packers, part of that incredibly tough division, Mel, in the NFC North, A lot of interesting needs. Will this be the year that Jordan Love takes that step forward? What do the Packers need to do to make that happen?
Quarterback's a positional need area. They're always looking for edge rushers. Obviously, adding another wide receiver. They had great luck in the second round, taking wide receivers, booking loose. So I look at that quarterback spot. Will Johnson's a guy. You talk about getting a value for a heck of a player. Had he been healthy through the process and not banged up, Will Johnson's a top 10 pick. So when is Will Johnson going to come off the board? We don't know about Shedeur. Will Johnson's another guy who's projected way up there. We don't know what his 40 speed is. Those questions about his recovery ability, Lou. But as a corner who can anticipate and break on the ball, 9 career receptions, 3 career pick sixes. I'm going to be interested to see how far Will Johnson drops.
Yeah, it's all about how comfortable teams are with the medical of Will Johnson. That's what it's going to be. And there's going to be some questions about it. He's in that area right now where you start going, the teams that need a corner, a guy like this, a guy who, again, Wink Martindale, who coached him up there at Michigan, said, look, this guy has hands, has ball skills like Champ Bailey. The guy can snatch the ball and take the ball out of the air like that. You think the Pack doesn't need that? This comes down to the medical. Simple as that. Are they comfortable? When they project forward how long he's going to wind up, playing in the NFL, what's going to be the risk, all of that. That's what comes down to with Will Johnson, because it has nothing to do with how the young man plays. He's fantastic.
Especially with what they have going on with Jair Alexander. To me, this has got to be edge or cornerback. You got Mike Green on the table, who led the nation in sacks last year. So edge or corner are at play for Green Bay, I think.
Yeah, an underrated guy we haven't even discussed yet. It's going to go in the late first, early second. It's Donovan Ezra-Rocky.
Yes.
All this kid does is get after the quarterback. He was a sack machine, and he plays hard. Now, he's 247 pounds, so playing the run is going to be a little bit of an issue. But as a pass rusher, pure edge rusher, Donovan Ezra-Rocky is right there with the top guys.
Speaking of edge guys, how about James Pierce?
Yes.
James Pierce is sliding down. James Pierce is a freak now. Like he is.
He ran 4.4 200 plus pounds.
The dude can flat out rush. But again, it's about trust. It's about how comfortable are you. But there's no reason James Pierce should be on the board right now. When you watch his tape, there's no reason he should be on the board. But you're getting into that area of the draft, Randy, where teams have some questions, right? And so now you're sitting there going, hey, is the value too good to pass up? Because there are some darn good football players still on the board right now. They're going to play real good football this fall.
It's about mitigating risk.
That's right. That's right.
You got to try to mitigate the risk you have based on what you know. And
that's
right. To your point, when you talk about Ezra-Rocky, talk about Mike Green, all those guys are tremendous football players. Which one do you think you can mitigate the risk?
Well, I'll tell you what. With Ezra-Rocky, there's no risk as far as the person.
Understood.
Right? I mean, there it's just does he have ideal measurables? But as far as the teammate is concerned, we were fortunate enough to cover Boston College a couple of times this year in college football. Ezra-Rocky is the salt of the earth now. He's a great kid, a great person.
And I'll tell you, 2 other kids as UCLA Bruins. I call them having an entry with the Kentucky Derby coming up for Saturday Day, right?
Yeah.
How about Olufemi Oladejo and Carson Schlesinger? Schlesinger off ball was everywhere making
best
tackles.
Instincts in the draft.
And Oladejo, when they moved them off ball to outside, was going to help the quarterback.
Yeah.
So those are 2 UCLA Bruins going to be really good late 1, early 2.
No question. So all the speculation here at this desk has been about defense. I've had a lot of Packer fans come up this week and say, really, we never take a wide receiver in the first round.
It's funny you say that.
Matthew Golden is still on the board, Mel.
I've said his name about 5 times already with picks. Matthew Golden to me, people say, well, you had 1 year of production. I thought at Houston, for what they were asking him to do for 2 years, he did a solid job. And then this year was supposed to be Isaiah Bond. It was Matthew Golden. Then Matthew Golden ran a 4.29. I don't know what else the kid needed to do. Yeah, you'd like to see 2 years at Texas, but he only had 1 season, and he did it all, and then he ran great. Matthew Golden here, are you kidding me, in the late first round, when McMillan already went and Abuka already went?
But Steve Sarkisian, look, he's such a great guy to talk to get insight about his players and about why they developed the way they did. And he says it about Matthew Golden. It took him some time when he got him in order to kind of get him comfortable in his offense. And he wound up taking over the role that many people thought was going to be Isaiah Bond. And he said, look, this guy will do it exactly the way you ask him to. But the reason why he ran so fast, he said, I promise you, he worked at it. Nobody expected him to run that fast. It's a testament to his work ethic in his football character.
So that reaction you're hearing as the words "the pick is in" just popped up on the screens here, as you can see on your screen as well. So the Packer fans all in attendance waiting to hear who their team will add in this first round tonight. It's been a fascinating first round. Again, we've had only 1 quarterback come off the board. We've had only 1 trade. There have never been fewer than 3 first round trades. And the last time that we had that few was back in 1971. So the Packers will make their pick here at 23. Their division rivals, the Minnesota Vikings, will be up next at 24, followed by Houston and then the Rams. So we continue to wait for spots where a quarterback may go. And now we're looking here at the Green Bay Packers set to make their pick. So the pick is in. I'm told the commissioner will be making his way to the stage shortly. A Packer team that had some good moments last year, made a playoff run, but played in such a tough, competitive division. The Vikings obviously had that great year, and the Detroit Lions, despite all their defensive injuries, finishing as the number 1 seed in the NFC, falling short in that playoff run as well. So the Packer fans here dancing and singing and waiting to hear where they go. I'm told the commissioner is finally now going to make his way out. And so the pick is ready. And here comes the commissioner with a very special guest who will be very well received here in Green Bay.
Okay, Green Bay, it's your time. To make this historic pick, please give it up for first team All-Pro, Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and Packers president and CEO, Mark Murphy.
Thank you. Thank you, Roger. How about this atmosphere? Isn't it unbelievable? Roger, thank you and the NFL for bringing the draft here to Green Bay for the best draft in the history of the NFL. Right here. On behalf of the Packers, Packer fans here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and everywhere, because our fans are everywhere, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the NFL Draft at Lambeau Field. It is our honor and privilege to host this wonderful event in our community, particularly since we are the only community-owned team in the NFL. Just out of curiosity, how many of you are owners? Yes. We also have the best owners in the NFL. And we also want to celebrate the special connection we have with our fans that dates back to the early days of professional football. With the 23rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers, for the first time since 2002, draft a wide receiver, Matthew Golden, wide receiver of Texas.
I don't know nothing about Matthew Golden, but I heard he was tough. No, I'm lying. I watched him in the Georgia versus Texas game. He ain't really did nothing.
For so many reasons, there is no other team in professional sports quite like the Green Bay Packers, and Mark Murphy did a great job of explaining some of those. And so that was the kind of moment you practically cannot get anywhere else in sports. Matthew Golden is going to address the crowd. Let's hear what he says. No, he went to the microphone, but perhaps not. Well, he'll address Molly instead.
It's
Here we
time,
go.
baby. Hey, I'm finna bring that energy, man. I'm glad to be here. It's a blessing. Green Bay on 3. Hey, let me get a Green Bay on 3. 1, 2, 3.
How good is that?
All right, Verizon Business to Molly, who is with the man of the moment. Molly.
Matthew, that was a warm welcome from your new fan base. What is it like to stand here in front of all these Packers fans?
Man, it's a blessing. I put in so much work to get here, and I got my family here, man. It means the most to me, man. I can't thank God enough.
At Texas, you stepped up big when the lights were brightest. How will you do that here in Green Bay?
That's what you should expect from me, man. I'm a reliable target, and I get open anywhere on the field, man. Whatever the team need me to do, that's what I'm willing to do. But I'm bringing that dog mentality. Know that.
All right, welcome home.
Thank you.
Guys.
Mel, you mentioned the combine 4.29. That opened a lot of eyes. 58 catches, 9 touchdowns in his one season at Texas.
The 16th ranked player on my big board. Packers sitting at pick number 23. We're talking about this year. 9 games, he averaged 20-plus yards per catch. Here he is with the Houston Cougars. Over a 2-year period, he had 76 catches, averaged 13 yards a catch, and 13 touchdowns at Texas this year. He was outstanding, and he came up big at critical moments in key games. SEC championship game against Georgia, really impressive with 8 catches, 162 yards. Quarterfinal playoff game against Arizona State, 7 catches, 149 yards, and another touchdown. He had 2 to 3 concentration drops. That was it. He's a guy who gets open. He can handle tight coverage. He catches the ball in traffic. He's tough across the middle. He's quick out of his break. He sells the route. And I was impressed with the consistency, game in and game out, to know that he was understated. He was underappreciated all year for what he did for an offense that needed him. And every time they needed a big catch, Matthew Golden got open and made, let's say, 9 games to average over 20 yards a catch. Is pretty impressive.
And I was impressed with his ability to separate. That's what a quarterback wants to see. Separation from the defender, knowing that you can throw the football to him on time and accurately. And when you look at Green Bay, it's often said that Green Bay has a lot of receivers. They got a lot of number 2. Might he be the number 1 that they've covered? When you look at Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson coming off the ACL. So this is a justified pick for the Packers.
All right, so the Minnesota Vikings are on the clock, and we've got Roger Goodell ready to make their pick. For every action, there is an equal opposite reaction. They will be booed as loudly as the Packers were cheered. Here comes Roger Goodell with the selection.
With the 24th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Donovan Jackson, guard, Ohio State.
All right, and so there's the reaction from the crowd. Versatility is the word that comes to mind. He started 31 games at left guard for the Buckeyes, then kicked out to left tackle and played great. So Donovan Jackson goes to Minnesota, but I'm told to go. Adam Schefter has breaking news for us. Schefter, what can you tell us?
Greeny, we said this would be the quarterback range, and the New York Giants have just traded back into the first round to pick number 25, which belonged to the Houston Texans. In return, they're giving up pick 34, pick number 99, and a third-round pick in 2026. The Giants at 25 are on the clock. Look for a quarterback here.
All right, here we go. So this is exactly what we were waiting for, Mel. The Giants getting their man at the top, Abdul Carter, not taking the quarterback there. If they turn it around and get the quarterback they're looking for here, this could turn out to be a magnificent night for the Giants.
Well, it's been discussed that Brian Daboll likes Jackson Dart, quarterback Ole Miss. There was like talking about number 3, way too high. He's 28, same grade as the 21st player on my board. So he's right in the range for Jackson Dart. I'm still sure, but more mobility Certainly Jackson Dart, he can beat you with his legs. He has 1,500 rushing yards the last 3 years. So if you're looking for traits, Jackson Dart has a few more than Shedeur on paper. I'm a Shedeur guy, love him. Jackson Dart I like, and I think Brian Daboll says, hey, he's my guy because he can move around, and he can, like I say, had those games where he could beat you with his legs, 3rd and 8. He can run for 30 yards. He's an athlete, okay, and he can make the throws. 6'2", 223 pounds, coming out of that RPO offense, Lane Kiffin. So, hey, if he wants somebody who can do more than be a great pocket passer, then Jackson Dart gives you more with his legs than Shedeur does.
And not only that, not only is the pocket passer, if you look at Jackson Dart, throws under pressure, when pressure's in his face, it's outstanding. I mean, he stands in that pocket and makes big time throws. I agree with you. Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback for me. Brian Daboll seems to be leaning toward Jackson Dart.
The difference for me was Shedeur came through in the clutch. When it mattered the most in games late, he's taking it out of the field. Jackson Dart had some meltdowns. That particularly the Florida game, a meltdown late in that loss.
All right, I'm going to take a very short timeout. We're going to come back. The New York Giants are on the clock. Adam Schefter has told us to expect a quarterback. Which one will it be? We will find out right after this, live in Green Bay on ESPN.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're also one of America's largest financial services companies. Like, he's so much more than Saquon Barkley.
I'm also Staycom Barkley.
Oh, man, he struck my uniform. Whoever did...
Calm in. Stress out. I'll never remember all this. Relax, Rook. When things get intense, we get incense. What a nice cleansing surprise.
For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
This Memorial Day.
I don't think you're supposed to drink that.
Summer starts.
No. Dogs on the table.
You sure that's a dog?
Yeah.
Rough. With Stitch.
No. I'm going to give you to the count of 3, Stitch. 1.
Disney's Lilo and Stitch. Only in theaters May 23rd. Rated PG.
Let's talk salary.
Great. What do you typically offer for this role?
It's competitive.
And if it was a number, it would be...
A competitive number.
With Indeed, you can avoid awkward salary conversations from the start.
Whoa, a number.
Is it competitive?
Why do 80% of NFL players choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Because the higher my sleep IQ score, the better I play. But that's not the only reason.
He likes his side firm. I like my side soft.
Sleep Number does that. Effortless comfort all night. So sleeping on a smart bed is why you can play like this?
Yeah, because I also like to sleep cool.
And I like to sleep even cooler.
And I really like it when we both get what we want.
Sleep Number does that. Meet the Sleep Number Climate Cool smart bed. Sleep up to 15 degrees cooler on each side. Visit a Sleep Number store near you.
I bet it feels like pressed against you, strawberry kisses. I bet it feels like that.
Can I come in?
Sure, yeah, come on.
Don't worry. DashPass saves you money on DoorDash, so you can skip the trip to the grocery store and stay right where you need to be. DashPass by DoorDash. Your door to more savings.
A Chewy pharmacy order is on the way for Homer, the homebody who only goes outside when nature calls. So Mom uses Chewy to get his flea and tick meds at a great price. Delivered fast, right to their door. For quality meds, for life with pets, there's Chewy.
Craving more football? Experience the game like never before. The access, the action. You see and hear everything. More of what you love. The United Football League. Saturday at 7 and Sunday starting at noon on ESPN.
Welcome to the show, the one with unimaginable power and endless entertainment. Phillies, Cubs, big-time talent shines from the friendly confines on Sunday Night Baseball. Sunday at 7 on ESPN.
Welcome back to Green Bay, where we have just had our second trade of the night here in round one. The New York Giants have just traded up into the Houston Texans spot at number 25. And Adam Schefter has told us it is to draft a quarterback. Will it be to take that man, Shedeur Sanders, the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, or that man, Jackson Dart, quarterback at Ole Miss? Opinions have been split between these two. Mel Kiper, you have been on the Shedeur Sanders bandwagon since the beginning of the season. Again, we are waiting. The commissioner can make the announcement right now. The Giants, who picked at number 3 in this draft, taking Abdul Carter, the defensive end out of Penn State. This was how many of the Giants fans definitely hoped the night would go. Get the pass rusher early, find a way to get the quarterback that you want. A little bit later in round 1, it appears that's what they have done. So we are awaiting the commissioner on the announcement. Here he comes onto the stage to announce the Giants pick at number 25.
The Houston Texans have traded the 25th pick to the New York Giants. With the 25th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Jackson Dart, quarterback, Mississippi.
Wow. All right. You know the story. Legendary high school career in Utah, threw for 67 touchdowns. As a senior, he went to USC, started 3 games, then transferred to Ole Miss, started 38 games for Lane Kiffin, threw 72 touchdowns.
I'm surprised he went ahead and beat the defense with his legs. His completion percentage every year under Lane Kiffin improved 62%, 65%, culminated with 69% this past year. Touchdowns went 20 to 23, 29, 11 rushing touchdowns the last 2 years, 1,500 rushing yards the last 3 years at Ole Miss. Now, the concern for me, and the reason I'm a Shedeur guy, is in the big spots. Do you come up big? For Jackson Dart, 2 games where Ole Miss faced a then-ranked opponent, LSU and Georgia, he completed less than 60% of his passes, and in each game combined for 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. And then they were looking for a playoff spot in late November. He completed less than 60% of his passes with a couple touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and that late meltdown against Florida. So 3 big spots didn't come up big. Shedeur consistently did, despite being a rat. I like Jackson Dart. I love Shedeur. We'll see how it works out. Keep in mind, the quarterbacks have dropped a little bit. How about the quarterbacks went ahead of them? Brett Favre, Dan McGuire, Todd Marinovich went ahead of Brett Favre. Joe Montana, Jack Thompson, Steve Fuller went ahead of Joe Montana. E.J. Manuel went ahead of Geno Smith, and 3 players were drafted by the Bengals before they took Boomer aside in the second round. So it doesn't always go. The quarterbacks go in the order or the way they work out in the NFL. So for Shedeur, I still believe, I'm going to say it, so I'm proven wrong after this, the New Orleans Saints are the perfect fit because Pittsburgh's weather, right? The Giants are weather, and the division's weather. And for Shedeur, like Drew Brees and Peyton Manning, that dome would help him so much to give him a chance to have the great career that he's certainly capable of.
I think Jackson is very, very well respected down in Oxford. Being a great teammate, he's tough as hell. Another kid who I was fortunate enough to call 3 of his games over the past couple of years. He's got a big arm. He is tough. He can pick up first downs. He can bomb the football. It doesn't always seem to be able to get through progressions as quick as you would like. That's something he's going to have to work on. That's something he'll have time to work on because Russell Wilson's going to command.
Are you drafting him for the next GM and the next head coach?
We'll see. And you know what? Hey, that's a question for John Mara. But I'm happy for the kid.
Let's find out what we can from Sal Palantonio. He is covering the Giants for us tonight. Sal.
Well, Greeny, it's pretty clear that head coach Brian Daboll likes Jackson Dart. Why? Because he has some of the same traits that Josh Allen had in Buffalo. That mobility, the dual threat ability, the big arm to get the ball down the field, the toughness. Those are the traits that Josh Allen showed Brian Daboll in Buffalo. That's why Jackson Dart of Ole Miss is here and will be a New York Giant, Greeny.
All right, and so, Mel, once again, this is a conversation that is going to be continued. These quarterbacks will be compared to each other for a long time. We know it'll happen. Shedeur Sanders will be drafted at some point here, whether it's tonight or tomorrow. The Giants have made this decision, and we will take a look at the history of first-round quarterbacks in New York Giants history. They drafted Phil Simms in 1979 out of Morehead State, won them a Super Bowl. Phillip Rivers, we know, was not a Giant. He wound up being traded just an hour or so after the pick was made for Eli Manning. They took Daniel Jones a few years ago. We saw that not work out as they would have liked. And now Jackson Dart, the 25th pick in this draft of the New York Giants. Quick thought, Mel, as the Falcons will be making a pick in a month.
I just go to the interesting how quickly he gets on the field. Yeah. Coming out of that RPO offense, you got Wilson, Winston, and DeVito. Now you add Jackson Dart. and they need the young quarterback. No question about that. But will he be afforded the time necessary to develop out of that offense?
All right, the Falcons have traded into this spot, and the commissioner will announce their pick right now.
The Los Angeles Rams have traded the 26th pick to the Atlanta Falcons. With the 26th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select James Pierce Jr., defensive end, Tennessee.
James Pierce Jr. goes to the Falcons and moved into the spot that had belonged to the Los Angeles Rams. Adam Schefter has more for us. Schefter.
Well, Greeny, this is an interesting trade. The Falcons get back this first-round pick to take James Pierce and a third-round pick. But in return, the Rams get a second-round pick this year and a first-round pick in 2026, along with a seventh-round pick this year. So this year, where all teams held their initial first-round draft picks coming into the draft, next year, the Cleveland Browns already have the Jaguars' first-round pick from one trade today, and the Rams now have the Falcons' first-round pick next year for this trade.
So we only had one trade in the early portion of the night. Now we've had back-to-back picks that get moved. As far as James Pierce is concerned, first-team All-SEC each of the last 2 years, Mel, racking up 17 sacks. Lewis.
I'll tell you, look, I got to see this guy. I'm telling you, this dude has the most potential of any pass rusher in this draft. I believe outside of Abdul Carter, all right? He could be the next best pass rusher in this draft without a doubt. At 6'5", 245 pounds, 4.47 in the 40. He reminds me of body type-wise of Devon Kurtz when he came out of Florida. He could go speed to power as well as anybody you see. It is classic. It's textbook. He's got the speed to chase down any quarterback in the NFL. He's got the power to collapse the pocket inside out. When he wants to slant down inside on run stunts, he blows up everything. Everything. He'll track down balls one side of the field to the other. The question with James is this: consistency. Can you get it out of him all the time? Can you count on him? Can you depend on him? Is he always going to be there? Is he always going to answer the bell? Because if he does, Atlanta finally has the rusher that they've been looking for. Because he has it all.
The Falcons have been in the bottom 2 in sacks 4 of the last 6 years, including 31 last season. But they've gone a long way to address that tonight, taking Jalen Walker from Georgia earlier and now James Pierce from Tennessee. But the big move made just moments ago, Jackson Dart, quarterback Ole Miss, to the New York Giants, who had taken Abdul Carter earlier in the night. So the Giants with a huge night with all the pressure in the world on their coach and general manager. And our reaction will continue in just a moment live in Green Bay on ESPN.
Lowe's helped build the 2025 NFL Draft Green Room. Visit Lowe's.com/NFL Draft now to recreate the look in your home. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
These are the voyages of the Patrick Starship Enterprise.
Krabby Patty, engage.
Hit it, Krabs.
Aye, Captain. Beep, boop, boop, boop.
Its mission, nautical nonsense.
Where's Officer SquarePants?
Weird dream.
Perhaps it was your imagination.
Whether you like SpongeBob, Star Trek, or both, find your mountain of entertainment on Paramount Plus.
Did they just hop from a baseball game to a show on Max without leaving DirecTV?
It's like all their apps and channels are connected.
Oh, it's all connected. Shows, movies, sports, cooking shows.
Is she talking to us?
Tell me, how does DirecTV put all your favorite stuff on one home screen? Uncanny content suggestions based on your watch history? Or mind control?
Were you recently electrocuted?
A better way to watch whatever you want to watch. Well, I, for one, am intrigued.
Only getting isolated results? Big gains come from AI that works across all your data and applications. The AI built for business, IBM.
Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. The sweet scent of a honeymoon in Fiji. Moisturize with vitamin B3.
You better not be using all the Old Spice.
Ooh, can you get my bag?
Check out the new whip. Tight, tight. Fully custom. How many Bud Lights can you fit in that puppy? As many Bud Lights as it takes. A lot of Bud Lights. You'll have to give me one of those.
Yo, I can go all pro into this.
I can guard you and route you up.
You sure about that?
So I was looking for a quarterback.
Let's go!
You're right, Billy. These do bring out my eyes.
Every shoe for every athlete.
Dix is the GOAT.
Hidden Valley Ranch is made with real ingredients for real ranch flavor that's impossible to put into words. But that's pretty close. Indescribably delicious Hidden Valley Ranch.
Your nerves might be shot. Your hopes might be hiding in the crease. And you might be seeing double. Or you might be feeling the heat. And you might be cursing droughts. And you might be witnessing history. And you might be thinking, oh my God, this is it. Whatever it is, you're in it. And with the Stanley Cup playoffs, that's the only thing that matters. The Stanley Cup playoffs, Monday on ESPN.
Welcome back to Green Bay and our coverage of the 2025 NFL Draft, which is presented by Courtyard by Marriott, a member of Marriott Bonvoy. You see, the Packer fans are celebrating. They're having fun tonight as their team did something very uncharacteristic, taking a wide receiver in the first round. It's been an action-packed last half hour or so here. Had a couple of trades. Giants traded up and took a quarterback in Jackson Dart. Falcons traded up and took a pass rusher in James Pierce. Mel Kiper's Baltimore Ravens are on the clock here, and in fact, their pick is in very quickly before the commissioner makes it. Mel, what are their needs?
A safety, and they got both safeties sitting there for him. Malachi Starks from Georgia and Nicky Minwari from South Carolina. You know, Starks didn't have the great year, but he was a heck of a football player throughout his career. I really like the football IQ and the
Here's
talent.
the commissioner with the pick.
With the 27th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Malachi Starks, defensive back, Georgia.
There it is. Terrific safety. Grew up in Jefferson, Georgia, about a half hour from Athens. Was a five-star. Became the Bulldogs starting free safety. Led the team in defensive snaps as a freshman on a national championship team. Finished with 6 interceptions.
And moved him around a lot, Green. He had 6'1", 197 pounds. He ran 4.50 now. The Nicky Minwari's, 4.38. Kind of pales in comparison. So Minwari had a 43 vertical. Malachi Starks had a 33 vertical. But football IQ both and being able to tackle at all areas of the field. Open field tackler, he's outstanding. His ball skills, the interception and the range he showed against Clemson was phenomenal. In that game, he had 5 career interceptions. He is just everybody. He's a good football player. He'll play that center field role for the Ravens.
Here's the thing I'll tell you, Grit. He trained in Tampa with my buddy Yo Murphy. I got an opportunity to see him every day, see him work. You talk about football character, football instincts, showing up to work. There was video of him working out this morning before he gets drafted this afternoon. That's what you're getting in this safety in Baltimore. There's a sign in the facility that says, play like a Raven. He will embody that coming from Georgia, being coached under Kirby Smart. I don't worry about the testing numbers. His football instincts, his ability to be in center field while you have Kyle Hamilton down around the line of scrimmage, to be able to play the ball and make plays. What he lacks maybe in speed and athleticism, he makes up by being able to key and diagnose quickly. This is a true football player that has very high football character.
Yeah, he's a guy who seems like he would fit in Baltimore in some of their split safety stuff, right? Their cover 4 schemes, their cover 2 scheme, whereas there's a lot of pattern reading where you process quickly, get quick pattern matches. You're not kind of isolated one-on-one. When he got put in those kind of situations, that's where you see some of the top-end speed deficiency come in. And I don't mean deficiency, okay? He's 4'5". So I'm saying he doesn't have true man coverage skills down the field against wide receivers, making them one-on-one. but he's a solid, steady player. That's a nice fit, Mel, with Kyle Hamilton.
Real nice fit. And I see both these safeties drop down this far. And of course, offensive guards an area we will address the offensive guard spot. So they're in a pretty good spot to know that they've solidified that spot. Keep in mind, Ardarius Washington was a heck of an undrafted free agent pickup out of TCU. Right. He is a free agent after the 2025 season.
And he'll benefit from being around a guy like Kyle Hamilton.
Yes.
No question about it. Those are look at the safety position where you want guys to be real cerebral and be real smart and be able to work together with one another, get everybody on the same page. He's perfect.
And one other note, they really like TJ Tampa, 4th-round steal last year out of Iowa State.
Right.
And they did some things in free agency with Awuzie, so they've done some things cornerback-wise, a little under the radar, the development of TJ Tampa, who I think is going to be a nice addition to that defense this year. Wasn't redshirted, but certainly got coming off the injury, a little banged up. They like TJ Tampa. He said a day 3 steal last year for Eric DeCosta, outstanding general manager with the Baltimore Ravens.
Now you can actually see the intensity in him as he made his way from the green room out onto the stage and actually lifted the commissioner off his feet, and he's down there on the stage now. Verizon Business brings us down to Molly, who's with Malachi. Molly.
Malachi, I can feel the energy vibrating off of you. That was quite the hug with Commissioner Goodell. How do you describe what's going through you right now?
I'm ready to go. I've been waiting too long. I'm ready to go. I'm ready.
This Ravens defense was a force down this stretch last season. What will you bring to that secondary?
I got energy. I move around. I play at a high level coming from a university like Georgia. I'm just ready to go play ball.
What do you think about playing with a guy like Kyle Hamilton?
It's my dream.
Great. Congratulations, Malachi.
Thank you.
Guys.
Everything you just said was illustrated by his behavior in every conceivable way. That was one fired up young man. As the crowd is now starting to boo the Lions. It's been a while since we've seen the other divisional teams in here. They booed the Bears quite loudly. They booed the Vikings loudly, and now they will boo the Lions loudly as well. The Lions, obviously, a terrific season last year, a terrific team, the best in the NFC, just decimated by injury on the defensive side to the point where they almost didn't have a chance by the time they got to the postseason.
Well, and when you talk about the defensive side of the football, particularly edge rusher, Aiden Hutchinson missed most of the season. They struggle to find pass rush, particularly coming from the edge. There are some guys that are still left on the board. The guy from BC, Donovan Ezaraku, Mike Green is on the board. They need to solidify the depth from a pass rush standpoint. This is a playoff team that wants to compete for a Super Bowl. You have to fill in the holes, the gaps that you have. You talked about them being decimated on defense. They have to accumulate the depth, especially at the edge position.
Yeah, they got to get somebody who can come off the edge. I mean, they need to start establishing depth by getting some more players. I mean, Aiden needs some help.
Yeah.
Right? He needs a guy. He needs some juice off the edge. I mean, Donovan Ezaraku is still there. Mike Green from Marshall is still there. You would expect it to be a defensive pick simply because of the fact that they had so many injuries.
Yeah.
And it really just derailed everything they were trying to get done last year. We'll see what happens here.
They were one of 2 teams that didn't have multiple players with 5 sacks last season. Aiden Hutchinson led the team in sacks, and he only played in 5 games last year. So, Mel, what direction do we look at as the commissioner makes his way to the stage?
I'm going to echo what Lou was saying. I think Carson Schwessinger's another name that we're going to be hearing at some point in time. You talk about they have Jack Campbell, but Carson Schwessinger from UCLA, all this kid does is make impactful plays, and he is a tackling machine.
Here's the commish with the selection.
With the 28th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle, Ohio State.
All right, so not an edge, a dominant run defender at 334 pounds who also compressed the pocket for the national champs at 11.5 sacks in his college career.
Here's the first thing you notice, Greeny. He's built like a nose tackle at 6'2", 334 pounds, but he has athleticism like a 3 technique. I got an opportunity to train him and take him on the field in Tampa. He's got elite movement for a guy that's 330 pounds. The ability to change direction. You talk about him playing the run. He plays the run fiercely at Ohio State. His ability to flip his hips and get upfield. He's got the versatility to play the 3 technique position. He can play the 1 or the 3. I think if he slims down a little bit, he could be the quintessential 3 technique.
No doubt. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at my notes. He primarily aligned as the 3 tech, and I said the second thing I put was excellent flex, body control, and balance and center of gravity, fluidness of movement for someone with that body that's so thick. and so sturdy, able to hold double teams, doesn't get turned, doesn't get his shoulders turned. Hey, they're probably figuring this. We don't like somebody on the outside on the edge. What's the quickest way to get to the quarterback? We're just going to collapse that pocket inside out.
There are 4 picks remaining in tonight's first round. As of now, they belong to Washington, then Buffalo, then Kansas City, then Philadelphia. Will Shedeur Sanders hear his name called tonight? According to our draft day predictor, there was only a 3% chance he'd be available by the time we got here. He is Mel's 5th rated player on the board. He's still available at 29. We'll be right back.
Ego, the #1 rated branded cordless outdoor power, pushes the boundaries of innovation to power the unexpected, all on one battery platform. Experience the industry's most powerful cordless pressure washer with advanced digital controls. A string trimmer so smart, it loads the line with the push of a button. And our most powerful blower that exceeds the power of gas. Ego takes innovation to the next level. One battery powers 90+ tools. Ego, power beyond belief. Find an Ego retailer near you.
What's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the $5 biggie bag with a junior bacon cheeseburger is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
AT&T has a new guarantee because not everything in life is guaranteed. Don't sweat it. Get our best deals on smartphones like iPhone 16 Pro on us with your choice of our best plans. That's the AT&T guarantee. And right now, trade in your iPhone any year, any condition, and get up to $1,000 towards your new iPhone.
Oh, great presentation, Tim. Could you email me the part about Geico, making it easy to switch and save hundreds?
Oh, yeah, sure.
You don't know my name, do you?
Of course I know your name. I just get you mixed up with the other guy. What's his name? What's your name?
Switch and save. Get more with Geico.
Could you just tell me I want this to be over?
With new McValue at McDonald's, you'll get more than you expect. Like buy a double cheeseburger and add chicken McNuggets for $1. Because 6 finals calls for a 6-piece chicken McNuggets. Get more than you expect with new McValue.
2025 NFL excitement. The stage electric.
One of many revenge games. Quarterback.
Oh, what?
Grab your popcorn and strap in cinema. This isn't about who's next. This is about who's now. This time is different. The NBA playoff day on ESPN.
The 2025 NFL Draft is presented by Courtyard by Marriott, the official hotel of the NFL.
We're back in Green Bay. The Washington Commanders are making the next selection at number 29 after a magnificent season led by their young quarterback, Jayden Daniels, all the way to the NFC Championship game. And then Mel making all of these additions that we see here during the offseason, most notably Deebo Samuel and Laramie Tunsil. So what direction do they look here?
Well, they've got an edge rusher, a big corner, and they want a speedy running back at some point. Obviously, the offensive line keep helping out Jayden Daniels. They did that with Laramie Tunsil coming in. I think when you look at this, it's all about Jayden, but I'd say a big corner. Will Johnson still on the board with his length and athleticism. And Mike Green, pass rusher out of Marshall, is a guy we know from a talent standpoint and the production that he had at Marshall this year can get off the edge and get after the quarterback.
Here's the thing I would say, Greeny. Think about the theme of the night. If you have a young quarterback, you help the young quarterback, either with the receiver or protection. I think they help the young quarterback some way.
Well, we're going to find out in a moment. Here comes the commissioner again, number 29, Washington. The pick is in, and here comes Roger Goodell with the selection.
With the 29th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Josh Conerly Jr., tackle, Oregon.
Interesting pick. So they take the tackle after signing or trading for the tackle. Josh Connolly has been on the radar a long time. He won the Anthony Munoz Award as the best lineman in the country in high school. Played in all 13 games as a freshman at Oregon. Started all 14 as a sophomore. And then Mel made first-team All-America last year as the Ducks went undefeated through the regular season.
Steadily improving player, Greeny, a kid who was outstanding throughout the course of the year. We talked about what he was able to do in that game against Abdul Carter. He wasn't up against Carter all that often, but he did able, when he had the one-on-ones, to show what he could do. The Mike Green was one play at the Senior Bowl, so throw that out. He has the athletic ability to be a guard or a left tackle, a developing standout at that left tackle spot. I was impressed. Run blocking, that showed the ability to drive defender off the ball, torque, and then seal, block in space. The ability to pull and get to the second level, I thought, was excellent for Josh Connolly. We saw pass protection as well. Talking about against Abdul Carter, didn't allow a sack there. The athletic ability, consistently take away the edge, then mirror that defensive end, use that punch more to keep defenders from getting into his pads. He can lose out a little the power. We saw that during the course of the season, but his hand placement, that could be improved. So an offensive line coach is getting an unfinished, needs a little more polish, refinement. But the talent level, the skill set of Josh Connolly, if you give him one more year at Oregon, he's probably a top 5, top 10 pick.
And you see those feet right there on that ET with the tackle slanted down inside. He took that away and then got back out on the tackle looping around. He's got nice feet, heavy hands, knock you off the ball. Got beat a couple times on inside up and unders and spin moves inside. But look, if you nailed it, Book. What are you going to do? You're going to make sure Jaden Daniels is straight. Make sure that he got some people who can knock guys off the ball. That's a nice pick for them.
And you got Larry Thompson. You traded for him at left tackle. Sam Crosby's at right guard. Brandon Coleman at right tackle. You got to figure he's either going to play the right tackle or go inside at guard. And so now Jaden Daniels, who had a sensational rookie year, feels more protected. You got Deebo Samuel. You got the offensive line. Two new. I mean, you start to see what they're trying to build in Washington around this young quarterback. Weapons or protection. Either way, the young quarterback needs to be supported.
I think the next piece that they need to get an explosive back in the backfield, true running back. I know they got Deebo Samuel, and he's a jack of all trades, but they've got some nice things going on, and here we now sit with the Buffalo Bills.
The Bills picking at 30. This is a team that has done as much winning as any team ever without taking it all the way. Their 78 wins, including playoffs, going back to 2019, is the most in a 6-season span without making a Super Bowl appearance of any team in the league. So it's a bit of damning with faint praise. They've been very, very good. They need something to put them over the top. What is it, Mel Kiper?
They got to cover. They got to cover guys on the back end. You got Will Johnson. As long as the medical is good, Will Johnson's a top 10 to 15 player. No doubt about that. For Buffalo to see Will Johnson there at this point has to, I think, surprise a lot of people. Maxwell Hairston ran great, had a really good junior camp, 2024 campaign. So he got hurt this year with his shoulder, had 5 picks 2 years ago. Now I know, Lou, you love Trey Amos.
Absolutely. Trey Amos, Azareye'h Thomas from Florida State. Both of these guys, I mean, they're those long, tough, man-to-man cover guys, great jump ball skills, win at the catch point down in the red zone. These are the kind of guys that Sean McDermott would like to deal with.
Azareye'h Thomas would have been in the first round had not been for the 40 at the combine.
That's right. I'll tell you what, and he's a Jalen Ramsey-looking type of guy. Long, tough, can play inside at the star at the nickel position. And Trey Amos, I'll tell you this, coaches down in Ole Miss said, he reminds us in many ways of what Patrick Surtain looked like when he came out of Alabama. He has that same kind of mentality, that same kind of toughness at the catch point, ball skills, all of it. But there's some good players still on the board.
If you talk about fit, though, all those guys, I get it. But from a fit standpoint, if the medical checks out, Will Johnson fits better in that Sean McDermott defense, where they want to have vision on the ball.
So you're talking about a too high type of scheme, cover 4, cover 2 type of
from a zone standpoint, ball skills, the ability to kid diagnose, get the ball, and get the pick sixes like he did at Michigan. Right. I think he fits better maybe than a Trey Amos or an Thomas.
Well, I would say Trey fits only because down at Ole Miss, I mean, they played a cover 4 type of scheme. It was Nick's scheme, basically, that they played down there. So, they both make sense.
A team that it was mentioned has been so good and yet come up just short in such painful fashion multiple times in the last few years. Last year was supposed to be their dip year. It was the year they lost so many of their players on defense, reset their salary cap, still found themselves with an opportunity in the AFC Championship game against Mahomes in Kansas City and just couldn't quite get it done at the finish. So let's see which direction they go. Everyone here is expecting defense to help Josh Allen and that Bills offense take a step towards San Francisco or Santa Clara next year.
It's just a different way to close the gap, really. You talk about the gap between Mahomes and Josh Allen is minuscule. So how do you close? You got to be able to close this defensive side of the ball where they can turn the football over and give Josh Allen one more possession, give him one more crack at the football.
And we can see the commissioner making his way to the podium with a very special visitor to announce the pick.
The NFL is stepping up to have an even greater impact as a wish maker for Make-A-Wish. For the second time tonight, we have the opportunity to grant a wish for a deserving young man to announce the first pick for his favorite team. Tommy. Tommy is a 16-year-old living with a neuromuscular disorder, is a huge Buffalo Bills fan, and he's here with me to make the announcement for his beloved Bills. Go ahead, Tommy.
Let's go, Buffalo! With the 30th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Maxwell Harrison. Let's go!
Let's go indeed. Cornerback out of Kentucky who ran the fastest 40 at the combine. So it starts there. He's here. He's a huge personality. 2-year starter, 6 interceptions. 3 of them came back for touchdown.
When he was healthy in 2023, he was outstanding. 5 interceptions, led the SEC, set a school record with 2 interception returns for touchdown in 1 game against Vanderbilt. And then this year he started 7 games, but he missed 5 games with a shoulder injury, had 4 pass breakups, only had the 1 interception. This is a kid that you talk about speed and recovery ability. Remember Nate Wiggins last year going to the Baltimore Ravens out of Clemson? This kid can fly. His 40 time was outstanding, blazing recovery speed, does well at the catch point, like his ability to plant and drive, the frame. Needs to play with a little better eye discipline as well, but that frame holding up, being able to support the run and be able to hold up physically in the NFL. But the recovery ability, the coverage skills of Maxwell Harrison, when he was healthy 2 years ago, was excellent. So.
Yeah, I mean, 39 vertical, 10-9 broad, 4.25. You're talking about the 40. Like he has the speed and athleticism to make up for some of the deficiency things that he has as far as route recognition and playing it true and playing it clean with consistency. That's what happens. That's why you slip down here to 30 when you have the kind of athletic ability he has. But look, Sean McDermott will get him right. They need to really get some cover guys, some guys who can make some plays on the ball in the secondary. And this is the kind of kid with the kind of traits that you look for down here late in the first round.
He's the first defensive back in school history to go in round 1. And we talk about how badly the Bills need him. They allowed opposing quarterbacks to complete 41% of their passes, thrown 20 yards downfield or more last year. That was 24th in the NFL. Now let's take a look at Max Hairston.
Yeah, like I said, Greg, you talk about the ability to recover and to see the size. Only about 180, 183 pounds. That's the concern moving forward, that frame. But you watch 10 different hitman jobs here. Look, and Kentucky, Drew Phillips came out of his defense last year. Let's go ahead and spin the wheel for the first. She had 5 interceptions and 2. Good for the first one. 2 years ago, he said 2 in that 1 game for touchdown against Vanderbilt. So, again, here's a kid with the talent, certainly the Buffalo Bills. They don't need 1. They need 2, maybe 3 cover men.
Vision on the quarterback. We talked about how Buffalo wants to play with the safeties high and the cornerbacks off, keeping the ball in front of them with the cornerback having vision on the quarterback. He played that to the best of his ability at Kentucky, was absolutely outstanding. So from a scheme standpoint, from a fit standpoint, and then you add the element of how fast he is, they welcome addition in Buffalo.
Yeah, that's how he needs to play it right there. He needs to play off, hips open, play everything top down, play with good vision. You saw that number 7 who he ran down from Texas. That's Isaiah Bond now. And he ran him down and made that play on that big post where he was beat initially, but he's able to run it down because he's got sub 4.3 speed. They just got to refine his technique, refine his route recognition. And that's what you're looking for here late in the first round.
I see him making his way over to our Molly McGrath. Verizon Business brings us down to the stage where Molly has Max Hairston. Molly?
Max, you told me that you were going to practice that handshake with Roger Goodell in the mirror. How do you think you did?
I think I did good. He almost lifted me up on the hug, but I think I did good. I've been waiting all night for that one.
I absolutely love your energy. You are known as a high character leader at Kentucky. What is Buffalo getting in you?
Man, Buffalo, they're getting the ultimate competitor, the ultimate teammate, and they're getting somebody that's going to give Josh Allen the ball back. Let's get to work!
All right, congratulations. Before we go, let's see the inside of that jacket.
Yeah, yeah.
And so Max Hairston is headed to Buffalo. I'll tell you what, the NFL draft makes for a strange bedfellows. Kansas City and Philadelphia met in the Super Bowl just a few months ago. Now they've swapped picks here. The Eagles have moved up to 31, trading up with Kansas City. We'll get the details on the trade in just a moment. The Super Bowl champs are on the clock, and we're getting ready to finish up round one from Green Bay. We're back in a moment on ESPN.
That is.
Trains. Trains that sense what isn't on the schedule. Trains that use the power of Dell AI and Intel to see hundreds of miles of tracks, clearing the way so you arrive exactly where you belong.
This combo meal's got combinations. Make this thing your own creation. Entree, drink, and choice of size. Oh, and it's free to swap fries. BK, have it your way.
If you keep making that face, it's going to stay like that.
I'm trying to get my own car insurance.
USAA. Grandpa was in the military. He shared membership with your mom so she could share with you. Easy.
USAA. Check if you're eligible today.
Nobody.
Thank you. You may kiss the bride.
We just got ourselves a 4GT on
Compression.
Beautiful, bro. All right, let me go stack this and then let me go grab my car.
You might have heard I'm going through a little upgrade with my tats. So when Verizon announced that everyone gets a free phone on any plan, pain-free, count me in. Try and beat it. I'll give you a sec.
Lowe's knows it's easier to make the right calls when you have the right team. Dak going for it, and he fumbles. Brilliant recovery with the Lowe's app. He always delivers. And so does the Lowe's app. In-store, online, our Lowe's team has you covered.
I won't let you down. I will not give you up.
Libre the original eau de parfum and L'Onu, the new alcohol-free citrus roll fragrance, Yves Saint Laurent.
At Macy's, the fragrance destination.
Being Courtyard's official fan ambassador has opened a new world for me. Now I get to hang out with NFL fans all season long. See you on game day.
All right, we are
Two world titles, what a night.
I lived in Italy. The away game was traveling to Germany, France. That was when I started building my passion for football. Draft night is going to be everything.
Back with the final two picks of round one of this year's NFL draft. A swap of the final two picks between the two teams who just met in the Super Bowl. You see Philadelphia giving up a fifth rounder this year to move up one spot. We'll see what it is they choose to do. Very quickly, we know, again, we've had the two quarterbacks selected tonight and seem almost impossible to imagine that we'll see another. So that will be tomorrow's storyline. As for the Eagles pick, here comes the commissioner.
The Kansas City Chiefs have traded the 31st pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. With the 31st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jihad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama.
Well, this young man has been on the radar a long time. He committed to Clemson at the age of 16, playing high school ball in New Jersey, ultimately flipped his choice to Alabama, where he led the Tide in tackles last year, including 11.5 for loss and 5 sacks.
21 on the big board. Brady would have been gone a lot higher had it not been for the shoulder injury. He played great all year for Alabama. 117 tackles, team high 11.5 tackles for loss. 5 of those were sacks. Think about this football team, the way Hall of Fame GM Howie Roseman has constructed it. Half the starters, half the 22 are from the SEC. Like those proven entities, those guys played for the big powers in the SEC. And Jihad Campbell did, as I said, guys, he would have gone much higher had it not been for the shoulder injury.
Yeah, no doubt. And when you think about what Philadelphia is doing, you think that they re-signed Zach Bond, the guy who they got off the street last year with an all-pro season and deserved a new contract. And now you bring in Jihad Campbell. It's an athlete, Green. It's another weapon they can add to their defense, which lost some guys up front. They lost Milton Williams. They lost those guys. So now you add an athlete on the back end, a guy that can roam and make plays in space. It's something to go along with Zach Bond to give them a dynamic duo on the back end.
He's a great athlete now. He can fly sideline to sideline. He can play 3-4 outside backer if you need him to, just like he's doing right here. Although this is just a 4-man front, he's just rushing in their sub package. But he's got nice high side dip and bend and close on the quarterback. You can see why on some of the tape when he was playing off ball, right? And he's coming downhill and he's taking on linemen. You can see the shoulder issues because he didn't have that same top and been able to get off and get people off of him. But you figure this, if he's healthy and both of those, those shoulders are straight, this is a hell of an athlete. He just looks great. He's kind of hyped too. He knows he's going to a football team.
And they can wait. This is one organization, one football team can wait on Jihad.
That's right.
Get healthy. Don't have to rush it. They drafted Cooper DeJean, who they stole in the second round. Why? Because he was coming off an injury. They waited it out, and he was an impactful all year and was a key guy in the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. So again, Howie Roseman, I say Hall of Fame without question, GM. Nobody does it better. And now to get a Jihad Campbell, who, like I said, I had him at 21, had not been for the injury, he would have been probably around 12 to 15. And like I said, they can wait till it's complete. It's not one shoulder, it's two.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. Wait till it's completely healthy. Shoulders are 100% before you get him back on the field, and they can wait it out.
You mentioned Howie Roseman. That was the Eagles' NFL high 11th trade involving a first-round pick since he took over in December of 2015. And he is standing by now. And when I say he, Jihad Campbell is standing by with Molly. Verizon Business takes us down to the stage. Molly.
Jihad, the defending Super Bowl champs just traded up for you. How will you repay their belief in you?
I'm going to give them 110%. Everything I got in me. The rich just got rich.
You told me that this week felt like an out-of-body experience. What is it like standing up here as the newest member of the Philadelphia Eagles?
Best team in the nation. I mean, what can I say? E-A-G-L-E-S. There we go.
Greeny.
Thank you.
He already knows.
Molly, he already knows. That's a great moment. Again, a young man who suffered those injuries thought he might have to wait until tomorrow night. And here's his name called again in a trade with Kansas City. Shefty, what can you tell us?
Well, the Eagles tried trading up earlier in the draft to go get Jihad Campbell, and the trade fell through, but they were able to persevere and trade up one spot. A lot of people might ask, why would you trade up one spot? Well, I think it's to block another team from potentially coming up, especially when it only costs you a 5th-round draft pick and you've got 20 picks in the next 2 rounds to use as ammunition. And now they get a player who, as Mel mentioned, could have gone from 12 to 15. He did have surgery on one of his shoulders. He's going to need surgery on another shoulder, potentially after this season. He's got a knee issue as well, but the talent is undeniable, Greeny.
No question about it. That feels a little bit like a steal, and that feels a little bit like why, as you mentioned, Howie Roseman is a legend of the profession. And so you see there's Kansas City. There's their legendary coach, Andy Reid, as they will make the final pick of this first round. They're accustomed to doing that. They've won a bunch of Super Bowls in recent seasons. Mel, what does this team need?
I look at a kid, about injuries, right, with Jihad Campbell. How about Josh Simmons at Ohio State? Left tackle, was playing great football until he had the knee injury October 12th against Oregon. Could have been a top 5 to 10 pick. Left tackle for Patrick Mahomes. If I'm a team like him, I can wait on Josh Simmons. If he's ready for camp, ready for the start, great. If we have to wait a couple more weeks or a month and a half, fine.
If you look at, again, Boog, I'll finish it up. Go ahead.
Here's the thing I'll say about the Chiefs. The only time Patrick Mahomes has lost a Super Bowl is when he wasn't protected. You got to make sure the kid's protected. This has to be some form of protection for Mahomes.
No, I was just going to say, this is feedback off of Josh Simmons. When he was healthy, at the end of last year, in the first quarter of this season, he's the best tackle in the draft. There's nothing he can't do. He's just coming off of that patella tendon injury.
Here's the commissioner to announce the final pick of round 1 of this year's draft in Green Bay.
With the 32nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Josh Simmons, tackle, Ohio State.
You saw it coming, Mel. He's from San Diego, began his career at San Diego State, started every game at right tackle in 2022, transferred to the Buckeyes, played left tackle, started every game in 23, and then this year the injury.
It's a shame because, as we talked about, he would have been a top 10 pick, and he cleaned up the penalties. Yeah, he was a penalty-prone offensive tackle, both at right tackle and left tackle. San Diego State, then Ohio State, right? His first year there with the Buckeyes. This year, he was off to the races, and he missed 9 games where he'd have been up against some really good edge rushers that would have solidified him maybe as a top 5 pick. But he missed those games when he got hurt, patella tendon knee injury against Oregon. But guys, when he was playing out there until mid-October, he was outstanding.
I mean, last year, week 13 against Michigan. I mean, flex, bend, punch, redirect, anchor, pull, reach, and cut off. He can do just about anything you want him to do. There was you were nitpicking to find something negative to say about his play. If he is healthy, and they have one of the best trainers in the NFL, Rick Burkholder, down there in Kansas City, he will be a bookend tackle. This guy's tape, there's no question. He just has to be healthy.
Here's the thing I'll add. I've had that injury. It takes about a year before you feel like that you're back. I tore my patella, right? And so I know he's squatting and he's ahead of schedule. It's going to be about a year before he feels like normal again. And if they're willing to wait, to your point, they'll get the best of him, but probably not before then.
Remember we talked about in the first draft podcast, his uncle. Remember his uncle, Chris Fuamatu Malafala?
Yep.
Father Nelson Simmons played Major League Baseball, Detroit Tigers, Baltimore Orioles, and Josh Simmons' name goes from San Diego State to Ohio State, and he was off to the cleaned up all the penalties. He only allowed 2 pressures, but all those.
I'll tell you, they have tried hard to address the offensive line down there, and they've had some success, and they've had some misses. This guy is one of the best that they brought in there. There's no doubt that you cannot dispute it. He just has to be healthy, which by all accounts, he's trending the right way.
And so that is it for round 1. There doesn't seem to be any question what the storyline is going to be going into round 2 tomorrow. Shedeur Sanders went undrafted tonight. That is a surprise, if not a shock. Only a 3% chance, according to our predictions, that he would be here available for Friday night, tomorrow night, for rounds 2 and 3. It has been a privilege to bring this evening to you on behalf of our entire crew here in Green Bay. I'm Mike Greenberg saying thank you so much for being with us. SportsCenter takes the ball and runs with it now. Scott Van Pelt is ready to go. Scott, take it away.
Greeny, thank you very much. Salute to all the hard-working men and women up there in Green Bay doing a tremendous job tonight. Hi there, welcome. This is SportsCenter from the nation's capital. I am Scott Van Pelt. We have a packed show on the way, including visits from Kirk Herbstreit, Nick Saban, Louis Riddick, Field Yates. We have 7 different playoff games in the NBA and the Stanley Cup playoffs. That was a packed show last night without the draft, right? We'll get to that as well. We will start